Today, before the bell, what do we see? PayPal comes out with earnings, a massive miss, down 13% on the session. We take a look at Merck, also reporting earnings before the bell. Yikes, out there, minus 9% on the session, at a time when Warren Buffett is giving us a $127 billion warning. Now, if we come over and look at the fear and greed index right now, we are sitting at 39, back into fear. Even though the indices were basically green across the board, the fear and greed index actually moving further into fear. Is extreme fear around the corner? We look at how the indices fared across the board. The Dow was up 134 points. The NASDAQ was up 262 points. S&P 500 up 43 points, and the Russell 2000 up 3 points. Now, when we look at advancing issues versus declining, 74% of issues advancing on the day. Then we come over and look at the sectors. Almost every single sector was in the green. The three laggards out there was utilities, consumer defensives, followed by healthcare. However, look at energy. Energy was up. If we look at a chart of crude oil, look at it, a monster rocket ship on the way up. After the current administration says they're going to go for maximum pressure on Iran, crude oil goes rocketing through the moon. However, right here, we can see Warren Buffett's $127 billion stock sell-off sends Wall Street a stark warning for 2025. And essentially, what is that warning? Below average returns are up ahead. So what does that mean? 2025 is likely going to be turbulent. And we've already seen that with a lot of talks about tariff this, tariff that, tit for tat, back and forth. Now, if you come back and look right here, in the first 3 quarters of 2024, Berkshire Hathaway sold 133 billion in stocks and bought just 6 billion, making it a net seller by 127 billion. That's the most aggressive selling in the company's history. Even more telling, Berkshire held a record 325 billion in cash. Now, we all know Warren Buffett is probably one of the best investors of our time. So if Warren Buffett is sitting on a pile of cash and basically a net seller, should we pay attention to Warren Buffett's warning? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now, if we come over and look at the heat map right now, we've seen a lot of green out there today. During the live stream, we were talking about this. I said, watch out for a late day push. Look at Palantir. Palantir up 23% on the session. When we look at a chart of Palantir, look at that massive gap on the way up. Out here on the daily, just absolutely screaming on the way up. However, closing with a little bit of a candle of indecision. Also, after the bell today, Google comes out with earnings. Yikes, down 6.24% after hours. We come over and look at the ETH hours. Right there after earnings came out, a big, nasty red candle formed. And let's not forget, it's not only Google that has earnings after the bell, AMD, Snap, Chipotle, and then tomorrow, we still have more earnings to come for the rest of this week. Right now, we are in the midst of earnings season. Tomorrow before the bell, Uber, Disney. Then after the bell, we have Ford, Qualcomm, ARM, just to name a few. And then we get Amazon reporting on Thursday. And let's not forget, we look at the expected movers out there. Palantir said, expected move plus or minus 13%. Let's go ahead and double that. AMD expected to move plus or minus 9%. Google plus or minus 6%, which is right now in that line. Let's not forget, tomorrow, the big mover out there is expected to be ARM. If we come over and look at a chart of ARM, right now after hours, ARMS is currently up a little bit. And essentially, ARM today was able to come back and fill this gap to the downside. So now is ARM basically primed, ready to go back and attack this swing point over here? Or will ARM start to come back down and basically come down towards this high volume node? Also, something we need to pay attention to for tomorrow. If ARM ends up producing a lower high, that's actually going to set up a potential A to B equals C to D pattern on the way down. And again, we don't know how high ARM will go tomorrow. If I go ahead and just drag this up a little bit, that has the potential to give ARM a price projection down here at about $127. Now, if you look at the Dow Jones out here today, Dow Jones kind of a smaller candle out here today. Then we look at the small caps, absolutely rocking on the way up, filling that gap that we left behind from Monday. Coming back, filling that gap. Now, are we going to be able to get out of this area? And if we look at this with the Russell, with the small caps, we can make the case that we have this A to B equals C to D pattern, bringing the small caps up here to about $237. Now, we come over and look at the SPY real quick. Notice we have this potential double top pattern. We've already been able to break below the swing low. However, we were not able to stay below it. Now, that double top pattern does complete down here at about 578. But if this candle starts going up higher, I want you guys to think about something, not a triple top failure, but could this be setting up for another breakout to potentially go higher? I know you're thinking, Mike, there's no way, not with all the tariff talks, China, tit for tat, Mexico, Canada, all that mess going on. Well, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, we might see stocks going higher. I want to make you guys aware I am now trading with 4 prop firms. I recently got a TradeFi account. Right now, you can get 30% off straight funded accounts. And you can see right here, I've had 4 winning days. I'm also trading with Apex. Right now, Apex having 80% off. Use the link in the description box down below. Use promo code Mike. Also trading with Take Profit Trader this week, passing 250K accounts. Right now, all accounts 50% off. Use promo code Epitome, link in the description box down below. And then the 4th one is going to be My Funded Futures. And again, use the links in the description box down below to make sure you always get the best deal if you like to trade with prop firm. We look out here on the MACD indicator, does not look strong at this moment. Still looks a little bit weak, and we're coming right up towards this high volume node, which could be an area where we start to see some rejection to the downside. Coming over here, look at the 30-minute profile. We can see today we're just kind of wedging up slowly and slowly. So are we getting ready for that big candle out here tomorrow? Is it going to be a big rocket ship on the way up, or will we see a big nasty red candle coming down towards this minus development area that we have down below us? Now, we come over and look at the futures markets real quick. Notice what we've been able to do today on the 4-hour chart. You can see we've come right back up, coming back and essentially matching the weekly high. Now, if we can break above this area, and this is something we kept talking about on the live stream as well. If you want to make sure you don't miss the next time I go live, make sure you're subscribed and you have the bell notifications turned on for all. But if I grab the Fibonacci extension tool, measure the A to B leg, the B to C leg is a corrective leg, and we project up here for D, that gives us a price completion at about 6,121. Keep in mind, we have an untested point of control up here, about 6,099. And as long as we can stay above 6,034, I want to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt and look for the market to push higher. Now, there is one other target to the upside I would want to focus on, and that would be this high volume node up here, somewhere in the ballpark of 6,082.00. Now, as we come over and start looking at the daily profiles real quick, notice we have a P as in Paul shaped profile. And what this basically signifies isn't necessarily bullish or bearish. Instead, what it tells us is if we start breaking below value area low, we're likely going to explore the lower third of the range. And I kind of like right where today's P point was, right around 6,017. And again, we need to break value area low before I would worry about that potential target. Also, we have a minus development area we're watching today on the live stream. Overnight, we hit it once, twice. If we come back into this area again, more likely than not, that level will give way and we'll see it going substantially lower. However, if we can get above value area high at 6,067.5, watch out. Let's see if we can go ahead and continue up higher, maybe rallying up towards some of these structure breakdown points. And again, it's a basic if then syntax. Point of control coming in at 6,064 with value area low coming in at 6,043. Now, if we look at the volatility index, we can see the VIX essentially was grinding lower all day long. At one point, it was teetering right there on the edge of being able to be down more than 10% in the session. However, the VIX closing out minus 7.58%. Now, are we going to see the VIX start to spike up once again, especially with all the tariff talks going on? We take a look at gold. Gold today making another new all-time high. Again, another key metric letting us know, watch out, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. Then we look at the dollar index, basically giving confirmation of that nasty pen bar type of candle yesterday. MACD indicator is still crossed to the downside. Now, as we jump over and take a look at the Qs real quick on the daily chart, Qs today rocketing on the way back up. However, after hours having a bit of a hard time. Google after hours was down. Then we come over and look at AMD. Right now, AMD after hours down 2.28%. So is this going to drag the NASDAQ down even lower tomorrow? Because as we look at the 4-hour chart, MACD indicator basically flatline. 30-minute chart, what do we got going on? MACD indicator, slight cross to the upside, but look at the angle. Basically, MACD indicator is still angled up, but it looks a little bit flattish to me. We have a P as in Paul shaped profile, and right now we're sitting at value area low. If we stay below that level tomorrow, watch out, expect the lower third to come back and get tested at about 519.85. Now, before we look at the futures markets real quick, let's pay attention. What is the economic news that we need to contend with for tomorrow? Tomorrow at 8:15 a.m., we have the ADP non-farm employment change. Then at 9:45, we have final services PMI. 10 o'clock, we have ISM services PMI. And we have a slew of FOMC members slated to speak throughout the day tomorrow. Now, as we come over and look at the futures markets real quick, notice right up here, we have this potential A to B equals C to D pattern. It's already drawn out. This is something we talked about on the live stream as well. But we've already been able to take out the swing high over here, unlike the S&P at this moment. Now, the question is, will this end up being a busted pattern? Right now, we have a price completion up here at about 21,889. Then we have this untested point of control right up here, slightly above that ABC target at about 22,007. However, do we end up producing a lower high here and start taking another leg lower, maybe coming back down towards this high volume area down below us? Well, for this, I want to look at the daily volume profiles. Now, look, we had a P as in Paul shape profile. One of the trades that I took today on the live stream, I went ahead and used a micro position, and I was essentially looking for the move to come back down towards roughly about where we are now, about 610. I think I got out about 613. We had the distribution leg forming. I was basically trying to look for a play back down towards a minus development area. Now, right here, you can see that trade where it played out. And if you guys look from that entry price down to essentially where I closed that out, that was good for about 70 points in the NASDAQ. So not a bad trade out there today. So as I look at this, I want to treat this the same way as that trade that we placed on the live stream. If tonight we're trading below value area high, I want to look for the market to rotate down towards value area low because we have a minus development area right down by it. But also if we start breaking below value area low, watch out for the lower third of the range to come back and get tested. And I'm really going to be watching right here near these candle bodies at about 21,406. Now, the volume profile levels, value area low will come in at 21,538 and 3/4. Point of control will be 21,637.75, with value area high being 21,686.25. Now, if you guys would like to learn why I think Take Profit Trader is the easiest prop firm in the past, make sure to watch this video right here.